Cool. Good day. Today I'm here with my navigator Pia.
Hello, my name is Pierre, and I'll be navigating for on.
Cool. Cool. So I'm gonna be discussing chapter 15, part 2. Triggers in databases. So what are triggers? Triggers are special procedures in a database that automatically execute in response to certain events on a table or view, such as inserts, updates, or deletes. So if an update occurs or an insert or a statement like delete statement occurs, then a specific trigger will trigger a function, and that function will run and perform a specific task. So that's how triggers work. So you can configure a trigger to run before, after, or instead of the triggering event. It fires once per row affected or once per entire operation. So let's have a look at how it works. So here I have my own activity that I created. So I created a system that basically helps us manage our party invites for specific people that want to come to a specific party, and it keeps track of the RSVP status based off someone changing their status or not. So it helps us track history for the RSVP status of specific people coming to a party. So firstly, I created a table called party guest, which will store the guest name and the RSVP status and the guest ID of all the party guests coming to the specific party. Then I have over here basically a second table called party RSVP history, which will basically, this is the table that keeps track of the changes that took place the changes that took place for the RSVP status of a specific guest, basically. So in order for this values to be added here, there has to be a trigger that takes place which executes a function. So firstly, I have my function over here. This is the function record RSVP status change. This function is gonna basically insert values into this RSVP history table. But firstly, in order for that function to run, a trigger has to take place after an update happens. So let's drop this. So firstly, I'm gonna create my table. Then what basically happens is we have these values that are inserted in the party guest table, which shows all the members coming to the party. So as we can see over here, we have 2 people so far that are invited to this specific party, and this is the RSVP status that we're going to keep track of. You can see both statuses are set to invited. Now, in order for values to be added in our party RSVP history table, right, which is currently empty, this is the table that keeps track of the RSVP changes. So it shows the change time, the old status, the new status, when it was changed or who it was changed by, and the guest ID and the change time. So now that it's empty, in order for the row to be added here to show the changes of the RSVP status, we firstly have a trigger. This trigger is called RSVP status update. This trigger runs only after an update occurs on party guests. So what we want to update over here is basically we want to set the RSVP status to accepted, right? So we want to change the status for the guest ID 1, which is this first guest. We're going to change it from invited to accepted. As soon as we do that, and run that, what happens is then this trigger runs, and what this trigger is doing is after the update it executes this function. This function record RSVP status change we find here, which is what I created here. So it's basically gonna check if the new RSVP status is not equal to the old RSVP status, meaning if it's changed, then we're gonna insert values into all these columns for the party RSVP history table, which is basically this table over here. We're gonna insert values in here. The values we're gonna insert is the old guest ID, the date, and the old RSVP status, and then the newly updated RSVP status, and the current user who updated that status. So after that, then basically this function runs because of the trigger, and that trigger runs because of the update that took place. So as soon as we update that, it should show basically the values added to this table, showing the changes that occurred for the RSVP status. So let's do this. So as soon as we update that specific RSVP status, that trigger runs, specifically this one, and then this function runs where it inserts the values. So after that happens, we'll see basically the party RSVP history shown over here. So now it shows the guest ID, the change time, so the time that the status was changed for that specific guest, the old status, which was first invited, then the new status now changed to accepted, and then the who it was changed by, basically. So yeah, that's basically how triggers work with functions.